everybody, it's Emily at Arg Schooling, and today I'm going to be doing my March Through History TBR. I have so many books that I'm really excited to read for March Through History Month. I'm struggling. This is my third attempt at a TBR. I just keep changing and adjusting it, but I think I've settled. So if you're not familiar with the March Through History Readathon, I'm going to link my video announcing it down below. This is the second year we've held it. I'm really excited to see how it goes this year because last year kind of was a weird March, but I'm hoping for a better March this year. So basically, March Through History is just an opportunity to read as much historical fiction and history as you can in the month of March. I made it the whole month because I think it deserves more than a week or even 2 weeks. I want a whole month dedicated to history and historical fiction because that is my passion and my favorite thing in reading is delving into different time periods and exploring them. So all that said, I'm going to get right into my TBR. So I have attempted to come up with something for every single prompt. Is that necessary? No. You don't have to do that. I just, I like to try. Am I going to read all of these books? I have no idea. Maybe. I've tried to double up whenever I can because that is a totally viable way of participating in a readathon that has a lot of prompts. See how many things you can squeeze in and double up, triple up. See how many prompts you can fit for one book. For the first prompt is to read a book that has time travel. And for that, I'm going to read Invictus by Graudin. This is a book that I've had on my shelves for ages. So this also is my goal to read my shelves. I'm going to try to make sure all the books I have listed here, for the most part, are things that have lived on my shelves for a while. So this book is one of those. This is a time travel story that I really don't know that much about, except that this character is hopping through different time periods to try to solve mysteries, I think. But it just sounds so neat. I love stuff like this. So I love Graudin's writing. Wolf by Wolf duology is one of my favorite things. So I've been anxious to read something else by them. I'm excited to pick this up. Then I have a book that covers, I think, 2 prompts, maybe 3, definitely 2. I'm gonna read They Went Left by Monica Hesse, and this is going to be my book that has a back on the cover, as you can see here. And this is a war story. So this takes place at the very end of World War II, and it follows a brother and sister who have survived the camp, and they're looking for their parents. All they know is they were sent left, and they want to know what happened to them. So I feel like this is going to make me cry. This is going to be very emotional, but I'm very excited to read it. This came out last year, and I've just been dying to pick it up ever since. I have another book that covers multiple prompts. This one is going to be, let's see. Oh, yeah, this one's for Dark Ages, as well as a book with LGBTQ+ representation, and that is Hild by Nicola Griffith. This is another book that I've just been I need to read this so badly. I'm gonna make it happen. So I was excited to fit a prompt specifically to read this, which was to read a book set in the Dark Ages. I considered the Dark Ages to be pre-printing press, so an illiterate society, everything revolves around the church, that kind of stuff. So this takes place in 7th century Britain with, I guess, just as Christianity is starting to take hold of the island and that sort of thing. It just sounded really cool. I love this cover so much. It's just beautiful. And I just really, really want to read this. This next book covers 4 prompts. I'm so proud of that. This book is going to be for graphic novel. It has BIPOC representation. It is middle grade. And it is the refugee experience. And for this, I'm reading When Stars Are Scattered by Victoria Jamison and Omar Mohammed. I honestly don't know a lot about what this book is about. I know that it takes place in a refugee camp in Kenya. I believe that it's a brother or 2 brothers who are living in this camp, and I don't really know too much more than that. So I'm really interested to pick this up. I know this won the Sybil's Award for middle grade graphic novel, and I'm just dying to pick this up. I have 2 graphic novels that I picked because I couldn't decide and I didn't want to not read one of them. I wanted to get both of them in. So I'm also going to be reading Grass for my graphic novel prompt. This is by Kum Suk Gendry Kim, and this is a book that I've just been desperate to pick up. I've had this for months now, and I'm just like, it's staring at me. This is about the experience of some Korean women during World War II, and it has to do with comfort women. So it's going to be very hard-hitting and sad probably, but I'm just so interested because I'm always looking for things like this that take place during World War II, but not necessarily revolving around the Holocaust, because there was a lot, especially in the Asian front, there was just a lot of things happening there that I don't think get as much representation in literature as Nazi Germany does. Then I have the Decade You Were Born prompt, which turned out to be so much harder than I realized. So I have two options right now. I actually have three, but I don't know if I'm going to read the third one or not, but I bought it just in case. So I have The Roundhouse by Louise Erdrich, which takes place in the 1980s, and it has to do with a murder mystery, I think, on a reservation. I'm really not sure if I'm explaining that even remotely right, but that's all I really know. That it has to do with a woman who was murdered or attacked, or there was some kind of crime, and it's being investigated. And it takes place in 1988. I also have The Ghost Tree by Christina Henry, and this is horror, and I think the 80s element is more nostalgic than like historical fiction, but I'm gonna count it because there's not that many books set in the 80s that I can count as historical fiction. So this is a thing I've been really interested in reading. It's kind of a small town horror story kind of a vibe, and it's 1980s, so there's lots of like 80s nostalgia. I don't know. We'll see. I also bought We Rode Upon Sticks by Quan Barry, that I might read because I've heard a lot of people talk about it. It's like a field hockey team / Salem witch trials in the 1980s, some kind of a like witch element in there. And it sounds kind of cool, and I like reading 80s nostalgia type books, and I don't know, I might read that. I haven't decided for this prompt yet what I'm reading, and rather than debate anymore, I'll just tell you all three. For the prompt to read some nonfiction, I have Survivor's Cafe, The Legacy of Trauma, and The Labyrinth of Memory by Elizabeth Rossner. This is about the way that Jews sort of internalize the trauma of the Holocaust and how we pass it down through generations. And I've heard a lot of really great things about it, and it's been on my like mental TBR for a while. I finally bought a copy, so I really would like to read this. And finally, the group book, the book we're all going to read together, is Last Night at the Telegraph Club by Melinda Lowe. I am pretty sure I've been explaining this book completely incorrectly, so Sarah just informed me. This book does not take place in China. I've had it in my head for months that this is set in Shanghai, China, in the 1950s, and that is not accurate. This book is set in San Francisco, in Chinatown, in the 1950s. So, my bad if I have confused anybody about this book, because apparently I was confused about it. So, this also would fit the prompt for a book with BIPOC representation, because it is about Chinese Americans. This book would also fit the prompt for LGBTQ+, because it is queer. I'm not sure exactly how or what representation is included. I just know that it is considered a queer book. And it might also count as YA, because I think this book is one that straddles the line between young adult, and I don't really know where it falls. So I've seen it listed as both adult and young adult, so I'm not really sure. It could count for that. If you need a book for that and you're already going to be reading this, it counts. These are the books that I plan to read for March Through History. Will I get to all of them? I don't know. It'd be exciting if I did. I guess we'll see. I'm going to set them back down. I'm hoping to hit as many of those books as I can, because I really want to read all of them. I don't know if I'm going to get there though. I'm also in the middle of other projects, so like I'm squeezing in as much reading as I can. I will be vlogging March Through History. I don't know yet. I might do 4 weekly vlogs or just 2. I don't know. I'm going to see how the month goes. I'm not making any concrete plans for that, because like last year everything seemed to fall apart in March, so I just like couldn't do anything. So I'm hoping I can at least do 2 weekly vlogs, but I don't know. If you have an Instagram or a YouTube channel and you've made a TBR, link it down below in the comments so we can go and check out and see who else is doing this. If you don't have either of those and you want to share a TBR, do that below as well. I want to know what everyone's reading. I'm very excited to see what books everyone's picking up. If you need more recommendations, go ahead to my Instagram where I have been doing pictures of recommendations for each prompt like almost every day this month. I have tons of recommendations for you over there, and I've still got several to go. So hopefully by the time this video is up, I will have all of the recommendations for you to go peruse and pick books to fit the prompts. So thanks so much for watching. I hope you all participate in the March Through History Readathon. I can't wait for March. I'm very excited about it, and I hope to see you guys all participating. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Happy reading. Bye.